Hi there, I'm Erin with 5 Parks Yoga. Thanks for joining me for class today. I'm going to spice things up in class today with some inversions and some arm balances. If inversions and arm balances aren't in your practice, have no fear. So I will give you alternatives and variations. And just remember, anytime that your head is below your heart, you are inverted. So you're getting all the benefits of inversions, whether or not you're standing on your head or your hands or anything else, your forearms. And so just enjoy this class, have fun with it. I will, give you some cues to help you into those postures, and we'll be doing a lot of other postures besides those. All right, so thank you all to my YouTube members and subscribers, to my Patreon supporters. I appreciate all of your support for 5 Parks Yoga. If you have not yet, please do so. Subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up icon if you like this class, and comment below. All right, let's start in a seated position, and we're gonna just warm up our spine and we're gonna warm up our wrists. So let's just start with our wrists right here, right away. So go ahead and bring your hands together, interlace your fingers, and let's take some wrist rolls. As we take our wrist rolls, let's begin to deepen and lengthen our inhales and our exhales. So you can start with the cleansing breath. Reverse the direction of your wrist. So breathe in through your nose, hold it at the top, and then let it go through your mouth. Begin to breathe in and out through your nose. Nice, long, slow, steady inhales and exhales. Keep your hands interlaced, and then just go ahead and press the palms of your hands forward toward the front of your mat. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears, and then stretch your arms up overhead with your palms facing the ceiling. From here, we're going to take a side bend to the left, stretching through the right side of our body, and then come back to center and take a side bend to the right, stretching through the right side of our body. Come back to center, release your hands and interlace your fingers behind your back now. Press your fists down, open your chest, lift your chin, and then option here to forward fold, hinging from your hips, releasing your forehead down towards your mat. On your next breath in, come all the way back up, and then make your way to a tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists, hips over your knees, and then let's move back and forth between cat and cow, breathing in, coming into cow pose, dropping your belly, lifting the crown of your head and your tailbone, and then rounding into cat pose, lifting and separating your shoulder blades, and then just go back and forth between cat and cow. Come back to tabletop position. We're going to get a stretch in the ankles as well as the wrists. So extend your right legs long, tuck your toes under, and then start to rock back and forth on your toes, bringing your shoulders past your wrists. All right, come back to neutral. Lift your right leg up. Bring your right toes to the left. Keep your toes tucked under. Bump your hips to the right and look to the left. And come back to center, return to tabletop position. Extend your left leg long, tuck your toes under, and then rock back and forth, coming up onto your tip toes. Stretching your ankle and your calf, stretching your wrists at the same time. Lift your left leg up off your mat, bring your left foot to the right, keep your toes tucked under, bump your hips to the left, and look toward the right. So back toward your left toes. And return to tabletop position. Take one more wrist stretch here. Very gently come onto the tops of your hands. Not a lot of weight here. So your fingers are spread wide, and you can gently rock side to side. Don't dump weight into your wrists. Come back to neutral. Maybe make fists with your hands. Making fists, extend your fingers long, come back to tabletop position, and from tabletop position, make your way to downward facing dog. First downward facing dog, pedal your legs, bending and straightening, one leg at a time. Okay. Shake out or wobble out your head, releasing tension from your neck. Come back to a static downward facing dog for one full breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. On your next breath in, lift your right leg high, bring your right knee toward your right elbow, tap it. Bring your right leg high for three-legged dog. Bring your right knee to your left elbow. Bring your right leg high for three-legged dog. Bring your right foot between your hands for low lunge. Begin to straighten through your right leg for extended pyramid pose, bringing your forehead toward your right knee, just working in that direction, stretching through the right hamstring. Okay, from here, you can take just a slight bend to your right leg if it's straight. Step onto your right foot and come into standing splits pose. So you're just driving your left heel up toward the ceiling, letting the top of your head hang down toward your mat. Put your heel a little bit higher and then release to standing forward fold. On your next breath in, come up to a halfway lift, lengthen your spine, flatten your back, and then release back to standing forward fold. On your next breath in, come all the way up to tall mountain pose, reaching your arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, cactus your arms, lifting your chin up off of your chest. Breathe in, lift up to tall mountain pose. Breathe out, hinge forward, come into standing forward folds. Plant your hands on your mat, step back to high plank position. Shift forward onto your toes, lower down onto your belly. Take the tops of your feet flat to the floor. Breathe in, lift your chest up off of the floor for low lift cobra. Maybe challenge yourself by lifting your hands up off the floor for 3 and 2 and 1. Place your hands on the floor if they're not already. Tuck your toes under, press up to high plank. Press back to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, lift your left leg high. Bring your left knee toward your left elbow, tap. Bring your left leg high for three-legged dog. Bring your left knee to your right elbow, tap. Bring your left leg high. Look past your hands. Bring your left foot between your hands for low lunge. Begin to straighten through your left leg for extended pyramid pose. Bring your forehead toward your knee. If your left leg is straight, take a slight bend to your left leg. You're going to step all of your weight onto your left foot. Lift your right foot up off the floor for standing splits pose. You're just going to take your right heel, bring it a little bit closer to the ceiling. Just lift and lift and lift. Your head is hanging heavy, so there's no tension in your neck. You're actually looking back at the back of your mat. All right, bring your right foot to meet your left. So you're in standing forward fold, stretching through the backs of your legs. Come up to a halfway lift as you breathe in. And return to standing forward fold. Plant your hands, step back to high plank pose. Shift forward onto your toes, lower halfway or all the way down. So you've got a chaturanga there. And then if you're on the floor, come up to cobra. Otherwise, upward facing dog. And then press back to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, lift your right leg up, open your hip, bend your leg. Now option, you can stay right here. This is a great place to be, or you can flip over, bring your right hand toward the front of your mat, maybe look back toward your right fingertips, and then return to three-legged dog. Lifting your right leg up behind you, take a step forward to low lunge. From low lunge, make your way all the way up to crescent lunge pose. And from crescent lunge, come into warrior two. Rise up to five-pointed star. From five-pointed star, bring your hands together to your heart, sink into prayer squat. Lift your right heel up off the floor. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Place it on the floor. Lift your left heel up off the floor. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Place your left heel on the floor. Lift both heels up off the floor and hold it for 3, 2, 1. Place your heels down on the floor. Come all the way up to 5-pointed star. Bringing your heels behind your toes. Come all the way down into standing straddle splits. Breathe in and out. Bring your toes out to an angle. Come all the way back up to 5-pointed star. As you exhale, release back to warrior 2, facing the front of your mat. Breathe in, come to reverse warrior. This is a side bend, not a back bend. And then make your way to half moon pose. So balancing on your right foot, lifting your left leg up off the floor. As you hold it, reach through your left fingertips and breathe in. And as you exhale, release to low lunge. So you're gonna level your hips, step your left foot all the way back to low lunge. All right, we're gonna take our first arm balance here. So we're gonna take side plank. Left hand is your foundation. Bring your right foot back to meet your left. Bring your right arm up toward the ceiling. Variations for side plank. Right foot stamps on the floor, or left knee, left shin rests on the floor. These are all great options. All right, from here, lift your right foot up off of your left. Bring your knee in, take hold of your knee, squeeze it in. Extend back, side plank with your right foot lifted. Roll back to plank, lower to chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Make your way back to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, lift your left leg up to 3-legged dog. As you breathe out, step forward to low lunge. Rise up to crescent lunge. And then make your way to warrior 2. From warrior 2, make your way to 5-pointed star with your toes pointing out, and then just all the way down into prayer squat, connecting the palms of your hands together, sinking down into your squat. Inhale, rise back up to 5-pointed star. As you breathe out, come into goddess pose. So bring your arms to goal post, sink into your squat, your palms face toward your head. Inhale, rise up to 5-pointed star. Exhale, sun god pose. Arms are straight off to the side with your palms facing up to the sky or the ceiling. Rise back up to 5-pointed star. And then as you breathe out, moon god. Elbows come in toward your ribs. Squeeze your shoulder blades, palms face out. Breathe in, back to 5-pointed star. Breathe out, standing straddle splits, hinging from your hips. Come all the way down. On your next breath in, come up to a halfway lift. Walk your hands forward for wide-legged down dog. Take one more breath here. Walk your hands back so they're underneath your shoulders. And then rise up to 5-pointed star. So your toes are pointing out at an angle. And then as you breathe out, come to warrior 2 facing the front of your mat. Breathe in, reverse warrior. Breathe out, half moon pose. So balance on your left foot, on your left leg. Reach your right hand up toward the ceiling. Stay active through your fingers, active through your toes. Take another breath in. Now bring your right hand toward the floor, level out your hips, and then step back to low lunge, preparing for side plank pose. Right hand is your foundation. Step your left foot to meet your right. Reach your left arm up. Remember, variations, left foot to the floor or right knee and shin to the floor. Lift your left foot up off of your right, and then squeeze your knee towards your chest. Squeeze it in as tight as you can. Extend back to side plank with your left foot lifted, and then make your way to high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Look toward your hands, step, walk, or float to Malasana. Sink down into your hips. Bring your hands to your heart. And hold here in this deep hip and low back stretch. Continue to reach up through the crown of your head. All right, now we're gonna take crow pose, which is an arm balance. You can take crow, or you can stay here in Malasana. So if crow's not in your practice, no worries. You're gonna plant your hands at shoulder distance apart. Bring your feet together. Bring your knees to the tops of the backs of your arms. Squeeze your elbows in, and then lift maybe one or both feet up off of the floor. Squeeze your heels in, point your toes. You're looking down at the floor, past your hands. You're not looking back toward the back of your mat. Your gaze helps your balance. If you're in crow, return to Malasana. We'll all meet here for one more breath. Place your hands on the floor, step, walk, or float, your choice, through chaturanga. So you can float from here to chaturanga, upward facing dog, and make your way back to downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. All right, so I missed our flip dog on the left side. So we're gonna do that because we want to do both sides. So go ahead and lift your leg up. Open your hip and bend your leg so you can stay here or flip your dog. So bring your left foot to the floor. Reach your left arm back. Maybe some of you who caught it already did it. I did not, so we're gonna just do it real quick. And then return to three-legged dog. Lift your left leg up and return to downward facing dog. Now we're going back to the right side, so we're starting a series here on our right leg. Lift your right leg high and step forward to low lunge. Come on up to crescent. Make your way to warrior two. Inhale to star. Exhale to standing straddle splits. Okay, you can hold here in standing straddle splits, or if headstand is in your practice, you can take a headstand here. So for headstand, you're gonna keep your hands at shoulder distance apart, place the crown of your head down on the floor, come maybe up onto your tippy toes, or you can lift your feet up off the floor, maybe bring your feet together. Your feet are together, bring them wide. Bring your feet down to the floor. Make your way up to a halfway lift, and then make your way back to low lunge at the front of your mat. Left hand is your foundation. Take your right foot to meet your left. Reach your right arm up for side plank. From here, make your way back to high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. On your next breath in, lift your left leg up, step forward, low lunge, rise up, crescent lunge as you breathe in. Warrior two, star, and standing straddle splits. And option for standing straddle splits here, bringing the crown of your head to the floor, lifting your feet up, maybe bringing them together. Coming back to straddle, bring your feet down to the floor, coming up to a halfway lift. Walk your hands forward to the front of your mat so you're in low lunge. Right hand is your foundation. Side plank, lift your left arm up. Make your way to plank. And chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. On your next breath in, bring your right leg high. Bring your right knee toward your right elbow. Tap it, hold, or float. Release back to three-legged dog. Bring your right foot between your hands for low lunge. On up to crescent lunge. As you exhale, you're going to step onto your right foot and come into standing staff with your arms alongside your body. Your leg can be bent or straight. And then from here, you're just going to keep your foot lifted up off the floor and make your way to airplane pose. Your arms are already in position, so you're just like a pendulum. Hold. Make your way back to airplane lunge. Step your foot down. From airplane lunge, make your way to airplane chair. Breathe in, come to balance chair. Lift your heels, lift your arms, and hold for 3, 2, 1. Okay, a little different transition here. So you're gonna bring your hands to your heart, separate your knees, bring your hands to the floor as you squat down. Bring the heels and balls of your feet to touch. And then if you'd like to try a little balance here, you can bring your hands to your heart. And hold here for 3, and 2, and 1. Bring your hands back to the floor. Step back to high plank pose, lower chaturanga. Make your way to upward facing dog and back to downward facing dog. Take a full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. On your next breath in, lift your left leg high for three-legged dog. Now you're gonna either bring your left knee to your left elbow and tap it and hold, or you can try to balance in Ekapada Kundalini, balancing on your left elbow, lifting your right leg up off the floor. Step back, inhale to three-legged dog, step forward to low lunge. As you breathe in, come all the way up to crescent lunge. As you breathe out, make your way to airplane lunge. From airplane lunge, step your right foot forward so you're in airplane chair. Breathe in, lift your heels, lift your arms, balance chair. Hold for 3, and 2, and 1. Now bring your hands to your heart. Separate your knees, come down into a squat. You can take your hands to the floor to bring your heels and the balls of your feet together. And then maybe bring your hands back to your heart, or you can keep them at your heart the whole time for 3, and 2, and 1. Bring your hands back to your mat, step back, high plank pose. Lower chaturanga, or just make your way back to downward facing dog. Okay, from here, we're gonna try a handstand. I personally am not really in handstand shape, but I'm gonna try it anyway, so maybe you wanna try it too. So you're gonna bring your right foot about 2 footsteps forward. Bring your shoulders over your wrists, look past your hands, and from here you're gonna actively kick your left foot up. So maybe you just do a couple of kicks and just get that right foot a little bit off the floor, or you can extend your legs straight and then kick up, maybe connecting your 2 feet together and maybe holding it. Okay, so from here, come back to downward facing dog. Let's try it on the other side. So you're gonna step your left foot forward about 2 footsteps. You can just kind of place it where it's comfortable. And then you're gonna put your weight onto your left foot and you're gonna kick up with your right. A couple times. You're all the way up in handstand. See if you can hold it. I almost flipped over. That's not good. And then make your way back to downward facing dog. All right, we're gonna make our way through one more standing flow, and then we'll do some poses on the floor. So settle your breathing after doing those kicks, those handstand kicks. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose, calm and steady. And on your next breath in, lift your right leg up and step forward to low lunge. Rise up to crescent lunge. You open up warrior 2, reverse warrior, half moon pose, so balancing on your right foot. From half moon, we're gonna go into revolved half moon. So you're gonna bring your left hand to the floor, level your two hips. So your left hip is in line with your right. Lift your right arm up. So you're twisting through your torso. Your hips stay level though. Now step your left foot down on your mat. Keep your right arm lifted. And then step your right foot to meet your left. For side plank, you can hold here. Or if you want to take big toe hold in side plank, grab your right toe with your peace fingers and lift your right foot up. Or you can just lift your right foot up off of your left foot. Now bring that right foot back to a low lunge at the front of your mat. Step back to high plank pose. From high plank pose, you're going to bring your knees to hover over your mat. Make sure that your wrists are underneath your shoulders. So you're hovering. And you're hovering. Really good core strengthening here. Are you breathing? I know it's a challenging hold here. Now press back to downward facing dog. Very nice. This is your last push, so enjoy it. Lift your left leg up, step forward to low lunge. Come on up to crescent lunge. Breathe out to warrior two. We're preparing for half moon. Reverse warrior. Remember, your alternative to half moon is side angle pose. Lifting your right arm up, stacking your hips. Now we're coming into revolved half moon. Bring your right hand down to your mat or block. Level your hips. Lift your left arm up. Twisting through your torso, you're not lifting your hip. Alrighty, transitioning from revolved half moon, keep your arms as they are. Step your right foot back. Now you're gonna bring your left foot to your right, side plank. And if you wanna try big toe hold, you're going to take your left peace fingers around your left big toe and extend your left leg up. Or maybe you lift your left foot up off of your right. Or take any other side plank variation. Whoa! Now make your way to low lunge. You're just gonna bring your left foot back into low lunge. Step back to high plank. Lower your knees to hover. And hold. Alrighty. Amazing work. Bring your knees wide. And extended child's pose, toes to touch, hips to heels, lower your forehead down. Take 3 breaths here. Complete your exhale. And you're going to bring your hands back so they're underneath your shoulders. Bring your knees so they're in line with your ankles. Tuck your toes under, hover here. So from this position of balance, we're gonna continue balancing. You're gonna bring your left hand to the outside of your right foot and roll to the right and kick it forward as you pull your elbow back. Hover, hover, hover. Now set your hips down. Lift your right foot into a straddle position, extend your arms forward, and hold here. So you're balancing, you're building core strength. All right, hold it, and release. Bring the soles of your feet together. I'm not facing you on this side, but I will be on the other side. Sit up nice and tall. We're coming into butterfly pose. Nice deep stretch for the hips. Press your elbows into your knees. Hinge forward. Look past your feet. And release from your fold if you're folded forward. Now you're going to face to the back of your mat. Place your feet flat to the floor. Extend your arms forward. What we're gonna do here is 3 rolling boats. This is working on balance, stability, core, and we're gonna hold. So you're gonna roll back, roll forward, find boat and hold. 2, 1. Roll forward, or back, sorry, and roll forward and hold boat for 3, 2, 1. This is your last one. Roll back, roll forward, find boat and hold for 3, 2, 1. Cross over your ankles and go ahead and make your way back to downward facing dog. Alrighty, so let's do the other side. So this is going to be your left leg. So bring your knees down to hover. Walk your hands so they're underneath your shoulders. From here, you're going to bring your left foot behind your right hand. Draw your elbow back. Hover your left foot and hold for 3, 2, and 1. Now set your hips down, lift your right leg up so you're in a straddle. Bring your arms forward and hold here, establishing balance and core strength. And from here, we're going to make our way to butterfly once again. So bring the soles of your feet together. Bring your hands around your ankles, sit up nice and tall, hinge forward. Okay, if you're folded forward, come all the way back up. Now look to the front of your mat. Take the soles of your feet flat to the floor. Extend your arms forward. Okay, we're not going to do rolling boats again. Now we're going to do low boats. So lift your feet up off the floor. Hold. Now from here, you're going to extend your feet forward. Bring your shoulders down to hover. So this is your low boat. Extending your legs long. High boat. Low boat. High boat. Low boat. High boat. Cross over your ankles. And step back to downward facing dog. In downward dog, make your way down onto your knees, cross your ankles, come to a seat. Take your feet out in front of you. We're gonna do reverse tabletop and or reverse plank. So for reverse table, well, for both, bring your hands behind your hips. Your fingertips are facing the front of your mat. So it's not the opposite with your backwards. All right, so for reverse tabletop, you're gonna lift your hips up so you're one long line from your shoulders to your knees. Your head is in line with your spine, so looking up, and I can see a howler monkey up in my tree. So it's a nice view from here. All right, now you're gonna bring your hips back down to the floor. You can do reverse tabletop again, or you can do reverse plank. For reverse plank, I'm just gonna extend the legs long. You know where you're going with reverse tabletop. Your hands are in the same position. Point your toes down for reverse plank. And then from here, just lift your hips up. Now you're one long line from your shoulders all the way down to your toes. Right, whichever pose you're in, just release your hips back down onto your mat. Bring your shoulders up over your hips. Lift your arms up for seated forward fold. Hinge over your legs, reaching your hands towards your toes. Nice deep stretch through your hamstrings, the backs of your legs, and your low back. Just let each exhale take you a little bit deeper into your fold. And last exhale in this pose. Make your way all the way back up. And once again, bend your legs, take your feet to the floor. This time you get to lay down on your back. So roll down. Alrighty, so bring your arms to goal post, bring your feet to the edges of your mat, rock your knees side to side, releasing the low back. Continue with your deep breathing. Bring your legs back to center, take your feet in line with your hips, cross your right ankle over your left knee, and reclined pigeon. Bring your left foot up off the floor, hold onto your thigh or your shin, draw your left knee in toward your face. Flex both feet so your toes are reaching toward your knees, and then you can just kind of gently drive your right knee forward to increase the stretch. So as you pull your left knee in, your right knee goes forward toward the front of your mat. Place your left foot down on your floor, on your mat, and then twist. So bring your right foot to the left. You can take your arms either to goal post or T, whatever is more comfortable, and you can look to the right. Release from your twist. Uncross your right ankle. Place your right foot on the floor and cross your left ankle over your right knee. Lift your right foot up off the floor. Hold onto your thigh or your shin. Draw your right knee in. Flex both feet. Toes going toward your knees. As you pull your right knee in, just gently press your left knee forward toward the front of your mat. To me, when I activate that, it's pretty intense. So, I don't know, just take note in your own body. What do you feel when you actually press your left knee forward? You're not just hanging out here in reclined pigeon, you're actually working the pose. And of course, are you breathing as you do that? This is how you gain mobility and flexibility in your hips. All right, we're gonna release. So bring your right foot to the floor and twist. Bring your left foot to the right. Arms goal post or T, look to the left, hold here, deep breaths. Unwind from your twist, uncross your ankle. And then lift both feet up off the floor for happy baby. You can hold on to your thighs, calves, toes, feet, whatever is accessible to you. And you're just gonna bring your thighs a little bit closer toward the floor. And if it feels good, you can rock side to side. It's like a little massage for your low back. Otherwise, you can hold the pose static. You're rocking, make your way back to center and draw both knees into your chest. Opposite hand toward opposite wrist or opposite elbow. Tight squeeze here. Just trying to flatten our entire spine onto our mat. And just working in that direction. It's okay if your arms aren't all the way wrapped around your knees. You're just working toward a compression in your hip flexors, a stretch in your back. Right, gently release. Our next pose is Shavasana. So take any other movements that you'd like before this final posture. When you're ready for Shavasana, you're gonna extend your legs long and wide. Let your feet fall open. Extend your arms long and wide. Palms face up toward the ceiling. And then take a deep inhale through your nose. Hold it at the top. Exhale through your mouth. Come back to the natural rhythm of your breath. free to stay here. When you're ready, go ahead and begin to wiggle your fingers on your toes, roll your wrists and your ankles. Reach your arms up overhead, bring your legs together, point your toes, big full body stretch. And then you can roll onto your side before you come up to seated. And just take a moment here in gratitude for taking the time for yourself, challenging yourself in this practice with lots of balancing poses. And then when you're ready, all the way up to a seated position. And let's close our practice together. Bring your hands to your heart. Breathe deeply in through your nose and hold at the top. Open mouth, exhale. And today, as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, and peace in your heart. From my heart to each and every one of yours. Namaste.